Today's lecture is about functions. A function is a stored program that you can pass parameters into and then return a value. Now, you don't always pass parameters, but you do always return a value. So some functions won't actually use a parameter. Now, a parameter is a named variable passed into a function. So lots of times we've been using $con as a variable or $ID. Function arguments are the real values passed to the function. So maybe 17 was the ID as an example. Let's get started on the getSemester function. That's what we're going to call this. And I'll explain a little about it as we go through. First of all, we're going to set up a delimiter of $. Let me explain what that is. A delimiter is a sequence of one or more characters for specifying the boundary between separate independent regions in plain text or other data streams. So as an example, we have comma-separated fields separated by commas in a comma-separated values. That's a CSV file, so you may have heard of those. If not, you should have. And sometimes they're separated by semicolons. That's exactly what happens in MySQL. So I have a select state name from USA limit 1 semicolon. That's a separator, a delimiter, and says, okay, that's the string that gives me the first command, and then describe FM towns, that's the second command, also ended with a semicolon. So the semicolon is the delimiter there. Now, back to our program. Next thing we're going to do is create in the function name getSemester, and I have parentheses. That's where we would pass a parameter if we had a parameter, but we don't have a parameter in this example. GetSemester. And it's going to return a varchar 10. Okay, so we just decided that's what, it'll be something like 2020 spring, 2030 fall, some number in between, whatever. Deterministic. That's a word that we're going to put there. Let me explain what's going to happen with that. A deterministic function always returns the same result for the same input parameters, where a non-deterministic function returns different results for the same input parameters. Things like equal now or equal rand, those would be not deterministic. What we're doing, we're only going to do a few functions this semester. They're all going to be deterministic, so we don't need to worry about that. You'll notice from there we have a begin and an end, followed by the delimiter, $. So anything in between here doesn't automatically execute because the delimiter is the $. So it's going to take all that begin end stuff, and then after I get it all written out, then it actually executes with the $. Now let's take a look at the way the logic will work. The spring semester, we're going to say up until maybe May 22nd will be the spring semester. So the first 4 months, but also part of month 5. Now the fall usually starts on September 1st, so that's those last 4 months easy, no problem. The stuff in between, that's what we call summer. So let's take a look at what we're going to do with that. First, we're going to declare S to be a varchar 10. Okay, so that's going to be S for semester. Then we're going to declare M. Now, in this case, I did it int 11 because that's what it ends up being. It's an integer. I've got Y and D also as just plain integer. I just wrote them that way just to show either way works. So M is for month, Y is for year, D is for day of month. I've declared them, but they don't have any values at this point. Now I'm going to set Y equal to year parentheses current. That's actually a current underscore date for the year. So that will be whatever today's year is. And then set D equals day of month of the current date, current underscore date. So if it's the 23rd of the month, that's what that'll be, whatever date it is. And now I've done this. Select summer into S. I'm going to do it differently in a few minutes, but select summer into S. Says S already exists, it's a varchar 10, and we're going to take these 6 characters and put it into there. Now that makes summer has a default value. S has a default value of summer. Then we're going to say set, this is, instead of saying select, I'm saying set. Just pointing out that we can do it both ways. Set M equal to month of the current date. So now I've got month, day, and year all set, and I've got a value of S. Now, if M is less than 5, what do we know? Well, it's going to be a spring semester. So set S equal to spring. So that covers S less than 5. It covers January, February, March, and April, but it doesn't cover this part of May. So that I still have a problem with. So if M equals 5, so that's the month of May, and D is less than 22, I decided 22 would become the first day of summer. So if D is less than 22, then set S equal to spring. So there's two ways that we can set S equal to spring. Either M is less than 5, or if it's equal to 5, but the day is less than 22. So that takes care of that part of May. Now, if M is greater than 8, what do we know? Well, set S equal to fall. So one way or the other, we initially set S equal to summer, and then we might have changed it to spring, or through another if statement we might have changed it to spring, or through a third if statement we might have changed it to fall. Either way, it's going to be right. And so now we've got that covered. All of fall, we got all of spring. It's just summer that we have set by default. And then it returns concat y comma s. So we've seen the concat function. It strings two pieces of string to two string variables together. So y is today's year, and then s is the part of it, either spring, fall, or summer, and that's what it returns to the function. And that's all we want it to do. To run that function, MySQL -h localhost, the whole bit there, and then less than symbol get semester function .sql. So we're going to just put it in an SQL file, upload it there, enter the password. Nothing happens because it works. When we go back in and we write select get semester, we see it gives us an answer. And if I did show function status, we'll see that I have one function called get semester.